So, with the recent release of Metroid Prime Remastered, some interesting news has come out, and that is in the form of a survey recently put out by Nintendo to people who bought the game. Now, if any of you got the survey like I did, you probably noticed that in one of the questions, Nintendo mentioned Metroid Prime 4. Now, of course, first glance, you shrug, you go, whatever, this isn't a big deal. But did any of us expect them to acknowledge Metroid Prime 4? I certainly didn't. I thought about it. I thought it'd be fun if they did, but I didn't actually think they would, which is interesting. But this whole survey, in and of itself, is very unusual because if you've ever filled out any of the past Nintendo surveys that they sent out, the questions are very different from the ones in the Metroid Prime survey. I know they did one for Metroid Dread. I didn't get that one, unfortunately. I think they send the surveys out to random people. But I did get surveys for Bayonetta 3, for Nier Automata, for a game called The Fall. That's an indie game. It's a Metroidvania. And obviously now this. So I have a few of them to compare to. And the questions asked in the Metroid Prime Remastered one are very different. Normally, these surveys, they tend to just ask you what your experience was with the game. Did you like it? What didn't you like? Would you recommend it? What do you want improved? This one asks questions more like, why are you a fan of the Metroid series? Do you prefer the 2D or 3D games? And obviously, like, the most important one is it'll ask you, like, what your favorite things as well, like the story or the atmosphere, the environments. But the most important one is this one that asks, why did you buy Metroid Prime Remastered? Most of the answers are ones you'd expect. But then the one that's most interesting is, I bought it to pass the time until Metroid Prime 4 releases. First of all, this is very interesting because they're acknowledging, okay, Metroid Prime 4 is going to release, but the fact that it's in a survey marketed for Metroid Prime Remastered means Nintendo knows people are going to deliberately answer with this one just because they mention the game. So it seems more like Nintendo's trying to gauge people's interest or excitement in the game, but also because, as we've been saying since the very beginning, once Metroid Prime releases, we are on the marketing push for Prime 4. And I guess this confirms that. This survey would seem to indicate that if we're playing the game to pass the time until Prime 4, that means Prime 4 is not far off. It's coming out within the next year and a half, I'd imagine. I've always said November 2023, but as we've gotten into 2023, I feel like 2024 was more likely. Simply because I thought Metroid Prime Remastered would come out last year and we'd get Prime 4 this year, but since Prime Remastered came out this year, I predict maybe Prime 4 was delayed into 2024, but it all depends. Are they going to remaster 2 and 3? I want them to, but I don't know that I fully believe. I'm on the fence. I could see arguments for and against them doing 2 and 3, but that's really the deciding factor here, because if they don't remaster 2 and 3 and they skip straight to 4, that means they can release Prime 4 this year. They can release it in November or around that time frame. I've always said November because that's what makes the most sense, but maybe it's October. But if they're doing 2 and 3, maybe we're getting Prime 2 in June or July, and then we're getting Prime 3 in September. One for every direct of the year, perhaps. So maybe Prime 4 then would be like beginning or summer of next year. Quite possibly. You can see that certainly playing out. So it could be either way. It all depends on if those other remasters are coming. But either way, this is the very beginning. Ever since we got that artwork from Retro Studios last year, February last year, I think we were at the beginning. That was to remind us, hey, Prime 4 is coming. The remaster was to give us a taste of what Prime 4 would be like, and also to get the Metroid Prime series in people's minds and get people prepped for Prime 4. And obviously Nintendo expects that a lot of us bought this game for that reason. In terms of review for the game, by the way, I'm still playing through the game. I just finished it last night. I'm doing a playthrough in hard mode now. I'm going to do a review once I got that done, even though it's the same game. But I'm playing through hard mode with the GameCube controls. I was playing with dual stick and pointer controls all along. I decided to make hard mode even more challenging. I'm going to use the GameCube controls, and my god, I'm suffering. those GameCube controls are damn near unplayable. How the hell anyone can unironically say they're good is beyond me, but I'm going to stick with it because that's the challenge I put on myself. But anyways, I'll talk about Prime Remastered specifically in my review, which will probably come in a couple of days or maybe next week, we'll see. But yeah, this whole service situation, very interesting. I was obviously very happy to see Prime 4 mentioned. I've never been this happy with a survey in my life, so that's kind of silly. But interesting things. It's going to be very interesting to see in the next coming months what else creeps up for Metroid Prime 4, because they didn't mention it at all when they announced Prime Remastered. We always thought they would, and they didn't. They just completely ignored it. So that just goes to show we literally cannot predict what they're going to do with the marketing. They could very well show up in a couple of days and give us a full blowout trailer, or they could, you know what I mean, it's random. We don't know what the hell they're going to do, because ignoring Prime 4 when announcing the remaster seemed like an impossibility, but that's the thing they did. So Nintendo are going to be unpredictable as always, but exciting times are ahead. It's a very good time to be a Metroid fan. And hey, we just got Fusion on Nintendo Switch Online a month after Metroid Prime. So again, I think it was actually almost a month to the day. So again, releasing back to back just like they did in 2002. It's Metroid is back, baby. Metroid is in its prime once again, or we're getting there. And it's just fantastic to see. I've been playing these games for 10 years now, and to see it finally getting the love they deserve, it's awesome. But anyways, that's just the quick news update. I just wanted to talk about the survey briefly because it is very interesting and it is eye-opening, and it gets the cogs going in your mind about what could be coming next. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. Did you get this survey? What did you think of it? Did you get any other surveys for any other Nintendo Switch games? How do you think the surveys compare? And do you think this means anything? Is Metroid Prime 4 coming out this year? Or are we getting 2 and 3 in the meantime? I want to hear everything you have to say down in the comment section below. And yeah, with that all said, thank you all for watching and please subscribe. Novice Grovis out.